Hello and welcome to today's EMBN Show. You guys wanted Gearbox bikes and I wanted steel. We've got both on today's show. Well, we are fresh off the hill with Anna Cipullo and her first EMBN ride on the white E-Lite. We'll come on to that in a bit. First of all, let's chat about Brose's all-new concept e-mountain bike.
Oh, it's a stunner, isn't it?
With a combined motor gearbox unit. This is, I have to say, a concept bike. It's unlikely this will ever come to production, but I think it does showcase some very cool features from Brose. Obviously, the heart of this bike is the new gearbox motor from Brose.
The Brose concept drive.
Automatic shifting, obviously. It looks very compact. This is definitely one bike I would dearly like to ride for reasons not just about the motor, but lots of cool features on it. For example, 150, 140mm travel. For me, Anna, I think it's the single-sided swinging arm. Now, this bike is 3D printed. To me, it looks like, you can see that the swinging arm is 3D printed in steel.
Yeah, definitely.
It says that the front triangle is as well, plus the stem. The thing with the stem is that it gives good comfort.
There's a bit of flex.
There's a bit of flex
created into that.
I've been wanting to see a steel e-bike for some time.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Brose have come out with this. But going back to the single-sided swinging arm, obviously there's no need for a derailleur on this bike. So
no, because it's gearbox. Yeah.
It enables the chain to run in a very compact fashion.
Yeah, and that swing arm, I love the way it's sort of almost organic, like it's growing around the chain. It looks beautiful, but
looks like
single-sided,
it
does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but single-sided swing arm, I mean, that's going to cause some engineering issues, surely, from a rigidity point of view, especially with an e-bike.
So here's the thing. Now, I actually rode a single-sided swinging arm bike over a decade ago with Alan Milliard on his bike, and his system was actually hermetically sealed. So it went from I think it was a Nexus hub mounted around the bottom bracket area, fully sealed down into the rear wheel. The ability to take that wheel out really simply. Obviously, Brose have made their own wheel for this bike.
Well, they must have, to get it to connect in.
It makes so much sense. Brose say that this bike is actually 23 kilos. 23 kilos.
Yeah, if that is a full steel bike, that's pretty impressive.
With a combined motor gearbox.
But that's the benefits.
This is like game changing.
Yeah,
right?
I know. But that's the benefits that 3D printing gives you, because they can do all that lattice work. They can make strength where you need strength, and then make it lighter weight where you need to. As we can see, the whole steerer tube of the fork through the head tube.
You didn't like the fact that they put the cables down.
No, all of their opportunities to build something into the design for the cable routing, and they've popped it through the headset. I was like,
is that a red card to Brose? All the great work undone.
I mean,
all that lattice and untied.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you'd want to run a bike like that anyway, with all your headset open to the elements, but it is just a concept bike, isn't it? This isn't coming to market.
I think there's some hints that this bike could actually be rideable, and if so, I think there is so much to be learned for the e-mountain bike future with this bike. So
yeah, for
Brose,
sure.
Please, if there's a chance, I'd love to get my hands on this bike.
Definitely want to see more high pivots in e-bikes, and I think this is what the gearbox is allowing, is them to be able to create a high pivot.
Does it matter? I think high pivots are so 1990s.
I think if it saves you back wheel a few times with that rearward axle path, I think it's a good thing.
Rearward axle path. Oh,
should we ask them? What do you think? Do we need high pivot e-bikes? Let us know down in the comments below.
Crikey, I think we're getting into a whole new can of worms there. But Anna, talking about can of worms, how did your first e-mountain bike ride go?
Good. I really enjoyed today.
Good.
But yeah.
Do you think you like it?
I already do. The more I ride that bike, the more I realise, because I was worried I'd made the wrong choice by going to a lightweight e-bike, but the more I ride it, the more I think I made the absolute right choice for me.
Are you worried that maybe spoil your future of mountain bike ride?
It might actually spoil my new Do you know what? Acoustic bike, yes.
I don't mind saying this, because it's actually something I hear increasingly in the woods, is that riding an e-bike really pretty much ruins you.
Yeah.
But
Because you don't want to go back.
But what kind of ruin? For me, it's like, I've ridden rigid and mountain bikes for 85% of my life. For me, like, I could maybe do in 16 years, I could do in the next 16 years, I could do the whole 32 years worth of mountain biking in half the time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to ruin me because I'm going to do so much riding in a compact space of time.
Yeah.
More news, folks. MMR Bikes have come out with a new model called the Kaizen. It's from the Asturias, or is that Austrian?
Why didn't they just say Spanish?
It's the Asturias. The Asturias is in Spain.
Spanish brand.
This bike features the Bosch SX motor with a 400 watt-hour battery, 29-inch wheels, 140mm travel front and rear with a 250 watt-hour range extender. Anna, 16.7 kilos.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It's pretty light.
7, 8, 9. That's 3 kilos lighter than my white E-Lite. How the heck have they done that?
Well, this is the whole thing.
But it is a 140 front and rear, and I'm not into that.
This is the thing with weight, right? Is like it's got to be built for purpose. I mean, your bike, it's got strong wheels, strong tires. It's got proper brakes on it. The thing with lots of companies, I'm not saying that MMR have actually made this bike not suitable for purpose. What I'm saying is, it's all relevant to the type of terrain you ride. I mean, we rode downhill today, we rode cross country, we rode
enduro.
Single track, we did technical climbing. So
I'd happily ride enduro on that white, whereas these guys are making a 140 front and rear that's
it's a different
sub
style.
17 kilos.
It's a
That's
different
probably
style bike.
Spanish trail.
Right, some news from France. Michelin have got a new e-bike specific tyre, which is the e-Wild Racing line. Very, very interesting. This has been developed closely with the Nuke-Proof SRAM factory team and also the Lapierre Overall team. I think I saw Nico Vullios on Michelin tyres a while ago. Crikey, do you know what? 1998, Michelin had a Comp 16 tyre, which is for downhill use. It was so soft and tacky.
Really?
Like literally like an afternoon's worth of runs on the downhill track, it would be worn out.
Yeah.
So,
they're saying this will go down to 3 degrees, which isn't cold, but that suggests it's quite soft and tacky as well. That it can still deform at that kind of temperature.
$79.99 to $89.99 price.
That's about right these days, though, isn't it?
I mean,
So
your
looking at
GMBN tech.
Yeah, you're looking at 70 quid for a branded tyre these days.
I don't think our Pirelli tyres are $79.99.
Are they not?
I mean, there's obviously a bit of a plug there for our partners, but...
So Fazua have had a couple of updates lately. If you live in the UK, you may be interested to know that Upgrade Bikes, which is the UK distributor, is now looking after the warranties for Fazua. So that means happier customers if you can get your motor sorted out and back quicker. Everyone else is getting an update to the app as well, so you can actually personalize things a bit more, tune the motor, and just customize it a lot more. Do you customize on the app? How often do you play with a motor's
let me just
app?
crack my water open here. That is a fantastic question.
I do that much.
That is a great question. Guys,
but you can see your data in real time. Maybe that's more interesting.
Right. To answer your question very succinctly, no, I don't. I do not customize. It's normally factory settings for me, whether it be Bosch, Shimano, TQ, Yamaha. I just run factory settings. That's it for the news, folks. Look out for Anna's video coming soon on the white E-Lite. But let's know your thoughts on that Brose concept bike. Like I said, it is a concept bike. At the same time, I think it is very, very exciting for the e-mountain bike world. Okay, folks, time now to have a look where you guys have been in the past few weeks. The varied types of terrain and backdrop, which is why I think e-mountain biking is so special.
Yeah.
You don't go to the traditional trail centre or bike park, and I think you guys really do showcase, the kind of places you go to. And we'll start things off with Salt River Basin, Arizona, with Mark and his giant E-Rain.
That's a lot greener than I expected Arizona to be, actually.
But really? Have you been to Arizona?
I haven't. No.
What? Oh, right. That's a separate conversation. Have you been to Crook Peak in the Mendips?
I think I have.
There
it's
you
very
go.
English looking, isn't it?
This is Craig and Cooper Series Hybrid 140. That looks like a bit of limestone to me, Craig.
Does indeed. Is that a bit of Chew Valley Reservoir in the back?
It could be, couldn't it? Yeah. And then we've got Andrew's Stylus All Mountain in the Bauge Massif in France.
Delightful. Look at that.
Nicely taken with the Parapenta coming down in the background. And then finally, over in Velocity Bike Park in Temecula, California, JD's YT Decoy and Cage 10. Have you been to Temecula?
No.
Home of so many, actually home of intense cycles. What a fantastic place.
So I've been to California a lot for Sea Otter, obviously, but never got to ride it.
And there's some fantastic places there.
Yeah.
We're actually at a fantastic place ourselves. We're at Pedal a Bike Away in the Forest of Dean in England. Fantastic coffee, fantastic cake, and a top bacon and sausage sandwich. Let's have a look now at the feedback from you guys.
Okay, feedback. So I've got Back in the Saddle. It says, he's got two questions here. One, is having an eMTB hardtail as a second bike or a winter bike next to a full suspension worth it?
No.
Considering costs and maintenance.
No.
I don't think it's any cheaper to maintain than a full sus.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Oh,
I don't.
Oh,
and I much prefer riding a full sus. So I wouldn't bother having two. That's more expensive than just maintaining one.
The thing is, right, it's a complicated business. For me, if you want to have your first experience in the mountains and you've not ridden a mountain bike before and you don't want to spend too much money, an e-mountain bike hardtail, fantastic. Fire roads, little smooth single track. However, if you've got visions of tackling some more difficult terrain, a hardtail, literally, tell me if I'm wrong, just teaches you how to ride slower. It doesn't teach you great skills. It literally teaches you how to ride slower because on an e-mountain bike, you're going faster. So it doesn't make sense.
No.
So my answer to that question is no.
No, moving on. Hill Climb Challenge video comment from Lycana, I think that is. Can you please explain why both of you are running more PSI in the front tyre than the back?
This is Blake and Richard in Cheddar.
Is it because of the muddy conditions?
I've got no idea why Blake and Rich rode higher pressures because, maybe in a downhill scenario, you'd probably, you know, maybe like a 90 kilo ride would be running like 26 front, 24 rear. With the Pirelli tyres that we use are actually designed with strong sidewalls. You can actually run them. I run them at like 20 PSI sometimes. It gives you a really good profile when you're, how do I do the profile like that somewhere? When you're doing tech climbs, fantastic.
Yeah,
so,
I'm actually running lower pressures, especially with the i9 system wheels. They're pretty, give you a good profile. But I wonder if it's because they were doing a climbing challenge, so they were hitting rocks head on and they just wanted a bit more puncture production.
Yeah. And then finally.
Yeah, so Chips and Peas, nice name. Let's talk about aftercare issue. We need actual aftermarket support, if not acceptable to scrap faulty motors when everything else on a bike is serviceable and supportable by OEM. Well, we've just seen in the news that Fazua are doing warranties in the country. Bosch are pretty good as well, aren't they?
I think lots of brands are good. Here's the bottom line. If you're out of warranty and your motor is hammered and had it, to fix a motor, you're looking at like 200 quid. Right?
Okay.
How much is a fork or shock service?
Yeah, probably about 120, maybe 150, depending on what you're doing.
Exactly. I think it's a myth that, you know, e-bike motors are like unfixable or cost an arm and a leg. They simply don't. It's not really that expensive to fix what's ultimately a relatively simple bit of kit.
Shall we put it to the audience? Have you had an issue with your motor? Did you get it fixed or warranted, or did you have to scrap it? Let us know down in the comments below.
Okay, this is a section of the show where we look back at things we've done previously. Now, Anna, we actually had Chris Ackrig and Georgia Leslie on the show.
Nice.
Last year, I think it was. Two very different characters who are both equally obsessed with e-mountain biking. Georgia, obviously she rides road. She races road. She races cyclocross. She races enduro. She rides an e-mountain bike a lot of the time. And then you got Chris Ackrig, who is like, as Nick will probably tell you, like
trials aficionado.
He does things.
OG.
He does things on an e-bike which nobody else in the world can do, like flow through rocky sections and stream beds. To see it. I mean, when I did the video with him, I was like, I had to apologise for swearing because I was like, it blew my mind.
It made it look so easy. It was almost not exciting.
But like what we discussed, what myself and Georgia and Chris discussed in the video is what kind of riding they do on their e-mountain bikes. We had Rich on the show a few weeks ago, where he said he literally just used his e-bike for shuttling. He'd put it in turbo mode, up and down the hill all day just to get the downhill runs in. So I guess my question to you is, what do you foresee your kind of e-mountain bike riding future will look like? What would you, what kind of riding would you want to do on it?
Probably a bit like Rich. Like, I do a lot of enduro riding, a lot of enduro racing. You know, I thought I was going to get more descents for my effort by having the e-bike because I could get more descents without getting tired as quickly. So that's what I was trying to do, is trying to improve my descending by getting more of it. But having ridden with you today, I've forgotten how much fun a single track climb is. Like sitting on the edge of your seat, like trying to keep that motor going around the corners is actually just a lot of fun.
It is, isn't it?
A lot of fun.
It's like keeping that momentum.
Might be doing a lot of that.
I think, I genuinely believe this, is that old school cross-country runs where there's hundreds of corners and it's up and down all the time. It's almost like you're going to rally in the e-bike, up and down the motor modes, up and down the gears, and it's like... Oh.
I felt like I was riding my motocross bike that, just on the edge all the time. It's nice.
I think that type of riding is... I think it's a bit of unexplored territory for me, because when I first started riding mountain biking way back in the 1980s, it was all about cheap tracks and stuff like that, but the intensity, the speed, the things that come up on an e-bike, it's a different game altogether. So... Yeah, well, I think we're looking forward to seeing your journey on the e-bike, Anna.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Bike Vault time.
It is indeed.
Bike Vault time, kicking things off. Specialised Levo. Got no idea whose bike this is or where they're from.
Leave your name next time, people.
Does that mean it's a nice bike? It's a nice location.
Tan walls, like it. Yeah.
It's nice. Next up, very wintry scene here. Robin's Giant Rain E+ in Burbach in Germany.
It's nice. Matches the terrain.
Or about the puppy.
That's a super nice, sure.
Mary, Ontario.
Norco
Jake.
site.
There's no name for the puppy. I do like a Norco bike. Going to be interesting to see Greg Bernard riding an Norco bike this year, isn't it?
Is he?
Well, he will do, won't he? He rides Norco mountain bikes.
Doesn't mean he's going to do e-bike racing, does it?
Of course it does.
Oh, all right. Well, you heard it here first.
Megan, albeit rides Sugarloaf Llandovry.
Are they blue tyres? Or is that just the light?
Megan, this is close to my heart. What a Sugarloaf Mountain in Llandovry. There's two Sugarloafs, one in Abergavenny, one in Llandovry. The railway journey through this part of Wales is all time. It is all time. Yeah. And I think that means... not just the railway one, but that bike with those blue... Are they blue tyres?
I don't know what's going on, but they must be white, even if the light's wrong.
And it's a super nice shot.
Oh, okay. It's super nice. Right, Steve. Should we get social?
You can crack on. Why don't we start with yourself?
I know. I didn't put this in here. I'm not trying to plug myself.
No.
But this is me demonstrating what it feels like to have a new bike day.
I really like the drop knee shot with the leg. I really like that. And Chris Ackrig on the disaster line. Now,
that sounds terrifying.
We're going to go and see Chris soon, and hopefully he'll be able to... he gets up to all kinds of nonsense on that bike. This is actually a T40 mountain bike, not an e-mountain bike.
He's almost doing a flare on a stump. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a hell of a boy, mind. Folks, that's it for this week's EMBN show. Don't forget to tune into the channel to see Anna's first adventure out on the trails. Coming up on the channel, obviously, there's a lot of credibility at stake when we go and shoot our videos. So me and Rich went out to do how to wheelie an e-mountain bike.
Well, surely you know how to do that. I mean, you pop a wheelie around every corner in every video, don't you?
You'd think so, wouldn't you, Nick?
Is that not the case?
It was a surprisingly difficult day.
I suppose
But I think we got there in the end,
and
and that's coming up on the channel on Friday. Folks, let us know your thoughts on the Brose concept bike, and we'll see you next week.